What would the world look like if there was no guarantees? No way of perfectly knowing or executing something, even if you've practiced it 100 times. Simple answer: chaos. When we apply this hypothetical to games, there isn't really anything that fits the bill. Even some of the hardest games have a decent amount of variables that you can depend on that you probably didn't even notice. However, when you dive down the rabbit hole, there's one game that never quite leaves your mind, that of course being Buckshot Roulette, the only game I found with close to zero guarantees. Smashing open a few doors, you find yourself in the hands of fate, the devil and chance itself. One shotgun, some blanks and some lives, and infinite possibilities. Now think about what I've just said, infinite possibilities. No game will be predictable and no shot will be the same without doubt. Only a unique sense of dread haunts you as your options are counted up. The premise is pretty simple. A random number of lives and blanks will be inserted into the shotgun in an unknown order, where you then proceed to either take turns shooting yourself or the dealer. When all rounds are dispensed, the turn ends and you restart, but when a player dies, the game shuts down completely, just to repeat all over again. Since you have no idea on the order, you can only use one of the three options available: chance, strategy, and intuition. If there's 2 lives and 3 blanks, you can't guarantee what the first shot will be, and without information on any of the rounds, using strategy will probably result in you using an item, which I'll talk about a bit later. But what if you opt for something else? Using chance will probably result in you shooting yourself, the highest risk and the highest reward. If it's live, you're either one step behind or back on a bathroom floor, but if it's blank, then you get another dance with fate. But if the round is a blank, then it's now 2 for 2, a 50-50. So what do you do? The only thing you can: trust and use intuition. Now that the scales are equal and the bullets have already been loaded, you're no longer using chance. Instead, you're playing a guessing game on what is already in the chamber. With so much at risk, your judgment becomes clouded, blood racing through your body in pure panic. Your pupils dilate as you come to a decision. Locking eyes with the dealer, your gut screams for it to be heard. But what if it's wrong? What if it's no use? What if it's just luck? But that's the point. You put the gun to the base of your chin, scraping the metal over the bone, and pull the trigger. You made the right choice. Well done. However, that was just one side of the infinitely faced coin that is this game. You could have shot the dealer for all you know, bringing chance back into the equation. Would you still have won? Would you still be sitting in that chair now? Probably not. So what if we made the stakes a little higher? A bit more exciting. But now you can have some guarantees, but are they what they seem? Are they really just some game altering items, or do they bring to the table so much more? To begin, you'll only get a few to keep it fair, but so will the dealer. Let's have a look at what you've got. A magnifying glass will give you a good look at what's in the chamber, some old medicine is your intuition's worst nightmare, the inverter will switch type around in the chamber regardless of what you know, some cigarettes will give you a well-earned break, the phone will give you some adaptive and strategic knowledge, a stick of adrenaline will make you a bit too confident, a beer will eject the round in the chamber, a handsaw will let you double down on a live round, and a pair of handcuffs will restrict the dealer and give you more time plus chances. Seems like there might be some guarantees, right? No, not at all. The items which give you information on the rounds only give you limited knowledge and leave room for so many more possibilities. The offensive items depend mostly on having other items work in tandem with it to create some sort of ideal outcome, and even some of the more abstract items also require certain conditions to be met, or they'll fall on chance and intuition if they're not already there. The only complete guarantees that you get from items are using them within the last 1 to 2 rounds to get definite chances, or using cigarettes to heal health. Beer does guarantee the round will be ejected, however, what that round will be is once again unknown without the use of other items, and it's mostly just used to create better chances anyway. Even adrenaline depends on what the dealer has, which sure is probably good enough, but once again is not a guarantee. No matter how you look at it, almost every single item has hundreds of uses, options, and possibilities, and that's assuming that you'll even get them all in most of your games. Because of this, the proper use of strategy comes into play for the first time. If you want to survive, increasing your odds and by extension your luck will make you more likely to win. By using items in chain reactions, you can gain just enough of an advantage to be confident in some of your actions. Using handcuffs with a magnifying glass and an alternator will allow you to possibly secure 2 live rounds in 1 turn, and pair that with a hacksaw, intuition and chance, you can now bump that up to even more. Now it's all starting to come together. Buckshot Roulette has no guarantees because as the player you have to make them. There's no plant that you're 100% certain will regrow in one location, or a herd of cows which will spawn in a specific area. It mirrors the art of taking that risk, even though it might not always work out. If you want to win, you have to do it yourself. On some runs, your intuition and chance may seem on point, but then fall off on others. So by being calculated and using reasoning in every single one of your moves, you can keep getting that little bit closer to winning. So let's go from the start. Kick down that door, sit at that table and load the shotgun. It's time to play. The first round is light work. With your newly found confidence, you're unstoppable. Round 2 is where things get a little bit more interesting. With items now in play, the amount of possibilities grows bigger and bigger. You start to hyperfixate on every little detail, filling your body with adrenaline and dopamine to the point of breakage. Nothing can stop you now. As you fire out the last round, you move on to the third and final round. The stakes have never been higher. 4 items each, 6 charges with 2 faulty, and the same feeling that you'll get nowhere else. This is it. This is the start of something great, or the end of something still blooming. It starts relatively sudden but manageable. There's around 8 shells per turn with equal odds, but you've been using your items as a safety net to stay alive. The rounds go by one until you reach the most important decision of your life. Fire a blank at the dealer and you're hit with the live. Dead. Fire a live at the dealer and you're left to live. Alive. Test your fate and shoot yourself. If it's a blank, you get a free live round. Alive. But if it's live, you create your own destiny. Dead. No matter what, each of the outcomes hinges on what's in the chamber, and your intuition defines that. Pick right simply once and the game ends in your favour, but one slip up and the opposite happens. You lose your life to the game. So what will you pick? There's no strategy left except that hacksaw, which will reinforce your decision even more, making a live round the final bullet, or a blank completely useless. Or in other words, it all comes down to you. So, what will you do? Put the gun to your head or fire at the dealer. It's all up to you now. And there it is again, that feeling you won't get anywhere else. That sense that your blood is boiling, pupils dilating and vision clouding. Option 1 or option 2. Endless death or bountiful life. Everything hinges on this. So you finally find yourself again. Get back in that moment and take a risk.